Slain journalist Arshad Sharif had no threat in Pakistan and never sought security. DGISPR, in an extraordinary news conference flanked by DGISI Nadeem Anjum, calls for an independent and transparent inquiry into the killing of Arshad Sharif.
Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government facilitated Arshad Sharif's departure from Pakistan. No one from government presses UAE government to repatriate the slain journalist. DGISPR Lieutenant General Babar Iftikhar calls for bringing back ARY CEO Salman Iqbal, as his name is linked to the incident in many aspects.
DGISPR Babar Iftikhar rubbishes cipher controversy, saying that a political party is trying to take political mileage out of this issue and maligning the institutions through fake and malicious campaign.
Pakistan is facing no external threat. DGISI says the real threat is emanating from economic situation and divisive narratives.
Chief of Army Staff was offered indefinite extension in March this year, but he refused and decided to play his constitutional role, says DGISI.
Interior Minister Rana Sanaullah says the government may allow PTI to hold its margin areas designated by the superior courts, provided they are sure to remain peaceful. Otherwise, they would be dealt sternly if they violates the law.
A large number of people from all walks of life attend funeral prayers of senior journalist Arshad Sharif at the Faisal Mosque in Islamabad.
Kashmiris on both sides of the line of control and across the world are observing Black Day today to register a protest against illegal occupation of the territory by India on this day in 1947.
Gunmen kill at least 15 people and injure dozens at a shrine in the Iranian city of Shiraz. Pakistan expresses deep grief over the loss of precious lives in the dastardly terrorist attack.
Zimbabwe beat Pakistan by 1 run in a Super 12 run match of ICC T20 World Cup in Perth. PTV Sports telecasts the match live.
South Africa thrashed Bangladesh by a massive 104 runs in the Super 12 of the ICC T20 World Cup in Sydney. Meanwhile, in the other match, India beats the Netherlands by 56 runs in a Group 2 encounter. PTV Sports HD is telecasting the entire event live.
And now for the news in detail. Pakistan Army has called for a thorough and transparent inquiry into journalist Arshad Sharif's killing in Kenya, adding that there was no threat to the slain journalist in Pakistan and nobody from the government presses him and the UAE government for its extradition. Addressing an unusual and extraordinary news conference flanked by Lieutenant General Nadeem Anjum, the Director General Inter-Services Intelligence, Lieutenant General Babar Iftikhar, rejected smear campaign against his institution, saying that Pakistan Army has decided to stick to its constitutional role. More in this report by our correspondent Musharraf Zahoor.
Director General ISPR Lieutenant General Babar Iftikhar held an extraordinary press conference flanked by DG ISI Lieutenant General Nadeem Anjum in Rawalpindi. In the beginning of the presser, General Iftikhar said he is holding this news conference to talk about killing of journalist Arshad Sharif in Kenya and the circumstances surrounding this incident. Lieutenant General Babar Iftikhar said Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government facilitated Arshad Sharif's exit from Pakistan, adding that Salman Iqbal, CEO ARY News, must be brought back to the country as his name is linked in many aspects of this incident. He underscored the need to determine the factors behind Arshad Sharif's death and find out answers of many questions.
कुछ लोगों ने अरशद शरीफ साहब के लंदन में मुलाकात के दावे भी किए। वो दावे उनसे किसने करवाए और किन बुनियादों पर वो दावे किए गए? کیا یہ دعوے بھی فیک نیوز اور ڈس انفارمیشن کیمپین کا حصہ تھے؟ ارشد شریف کی وفات ایک دور افتادہ علاقے میں ہوئی اور کینیا پولیس نے تو انہیں پہچانا ہی نہیں تھا، تو ان کی وفات کی خبر سب سے پہلے کس نے اور کس کو دی؟ کینیا کی پولیس اور حکومت نے اس کیس میں اپنی غلطی کو تسلیم کیا ہے۔ دیکھنا یہ ہے کہ کیا یہ واقعی ایک مسٹیکن آئیڈینٹی کا واقعہ تھا یا ٹارگٹ کلنگ۔ بہت سے سوالات جواب طلب ہیں۔ اس افسوسناک واقعے کی صاف، شفاف اور جانبدار تحقیقات بہت ضروری، اور اس کے لیے ہم نے حکومت سے ہائیسٹ لیول انکوائری کمیشن کی استدعا کی ہے۔ ان تمام حالات و واقعات میں اے آر وائی کے چیف ایگزیکٹو آفیسر سلمان اقبال صاحب کا ذکر بار بار آتا ہے، لہٰذا انہیں پاکستان واپس لایا جانا چاہیے اور شامل تفتیش کرنا چاہیے۔
The DGISPR said Arshad Sharif was fed propaganda on Cypher and called for finding out the facts behind the Cypher and Sharif's death. Talking about the Cypher controversy, talking about the Cypher issue, General Iftikhar said that the army chief had discussed it with Imran Khan, the then Prime Minister, on 11th of March this year. On 11th of March this year, but the then Prime Minister had termed it to be not a big thing. He added that it was surprising for them when on 27th of March a piece of paper was waved and an attempt was made to build a narrative.
نیشنل سیکیورٹی کمیٹی کو بریف کیا گیا کہ یہ پاکستانی سفیر کی ذاتی حیثیت ہے، اور پاکستانی سفیر نے جو لائے عمل ریکمینڈ کیا تھا وہی لائے عمل نیشنل سیکیورٹی کمیٹی نے بھی فارن آفس کو ریکمینڈ کیا۔ آئی ایس آئی کی سائفر سے متعلق فائنڈنگز کی کسی سازش کو ان کو اس کے شواہد نہیں ملے، اور یہ تمام فائنڈنگز ریکارڈ کا حصہ ہیں۔ ہم ان فائنڈنگز کو سامنے رکھنا چاہتے تھے جو آئی ایس آئی کی فائنڈنگز تھیں، تاہم یہ فیصلہ ہم نے اس وقت کی حکومت پر چھوڑ دیا کہ وہ آئی ایس آئی کی فائنڈنگز کو پبلک کرتے ہیں، لیکن ایسا نہیں کیا گیا، بلکہ مزید افواہیں اور جھوٹی خبریں پھیلائی گئی جس کا مقصد سیاسی فائدہ حاصل کرنا اور ایک مخصوص بیانیہ تشکیل دینا تھا کہ حکومت کے خلاف آئینی اور قانونی اور سیاسی معاملے کی بجائے عدم اعتماد کی ایک رجیم چینج آپریشن کا حصہ تھی۔ پاکستان کے اداروں بالخصوص فوج کی لیڈرشپ کو نشانہ بنایا گیا اور ہر چیز کو غداری اور رجیم چینج آپریشن سے کر دیا گیا۔
He said the Constitution does not allow criticism on the institutions, and we have been responding to the baseless propaganda through the government channels. The DGISPR said Pakistan has various challenges, saying that all institutions are jointly working to counter all these threats. DGISPR said institutions had decided to remain apolitical.
ہم نے ہمیشہ کہا کہ ہم اے پولیٹیکل ہیں، جو کہ ہمارا آئینی کردار ہے، غیر سیاسی۔ اس کو نیوٹرل کہہ دینا یا اس کو جانور سے تشبیہ دینا میرے خیال میں یہ، اور ساتھ جس طرح آپ نے کہا کہ اس کے اندر ایک دین کا بھی حوالہ دے دینا، میں کوئی ریلیجس اسکالر نہیں ہوں، لیکن جتنا دین مجھے سمجھ آتا ہے میرے خیال میں اس کردار کا اس کے ساتھ کوئی تعلق نہیں ہے۔ یہ ہمارا آئینی کردار ہے، اور پاکستان کا آئین شریعت کے عین مطابق ہے، اس میں کسی کو کوئی شک نہیں ہے۔ پاکستان کا آئین ایک اسلامی مملکت کا آئین ہے، اور اسی آئین میں یہ لکھا ہے کہ ادارے اپنا کردار اپنی آئینی حدود میں رہ کے ادا کریں گے۔ اسی آئین کے اوپر ہم حلف لیتے ہیں۔ سیاسی طور پہ انوالومنٹ یا کسی کے حق میں مداخلت کرنا، یہ انسٹیٹیوشن نے ایک بہت سوچ سمجھ کے یہ فیصلہ کیا کہ یہ اب آگے یہ نہیں چل سکتا۔
The DGISPR urged to avoid point fingers. The DGISPR urged to avoid point fingers on each other and called for unity in the face of multiple challenges. Reporting for PTV World, Musharraf Zahoor.
Director General Inter-Services Intelligence Lieutenant General Nadeem Anjum has said Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa was offered an indefinite extension in his tenure in March as he lamented those who held talks behind closed doors and labelled top military leadership as traitors outside. He was addressing press briefing along with DGISPR Lieutenant General Babar Iftikhar in the wake of journalist Arshad Sharif's killing. More in this report by Ali Andaz.
In a very important press conference today, DGISPR Lieutenant General Babar Iftikhar was accompanied by DGISI Lieutenant General Nadeem Anjum in a rare appearance by the head of country's top spy agency in public domain. The press briefing was held in the backdrop of journalist Arshad Sharif's killing in Kenya and subsequent smear campaign against army, which has become a norm since April after the ouster of Imran Khan from Prime Minister's office. Responding to a question, DGISI Lieutenant General Nadeem made startling revelations regarding offers made to the army chief in March when PTI was still in power. It was also the time when Imran Khan felt cornered by PDM alliance. General Nadeem revealed that Chief of Army Staff General Qamar Javed Bajwa was offered an indefinite extension in his tenure as Army Chief in March when PTI led by Imran Khan was in power. The offer was rejected by General Bajwa.
मार्च के महीने में आर्मी चीफ को उनकी मुद्दत मुलाजमत में गैर मुहिना मुद्दत की तोसी की पेशकश भी की गई, मेरे सामने की गई। ये बहुत पुरकशिश पेशकश थी, लेकिन उन्होंने इसको भी ठुकरा दिया, इसलिए कि उन्होंने जो बुनियादी फैसला किया था कि इदारे को मुतनाज़ा रोल से हटा के आइनी रोल पे लाना है। आपको हक है अपनी राय देने का। आई रिस्पेक्ट दैट राइट। एज अ सोल्जर आई एम रेडी टू प्रोटेक्ट दैट राइट। बट मैं ये ज़रूर पूछना चाहता हूँ कि अगर आपका दिल मुतमईन है कि आपका सुपा सलार गद्दार है, मीर जाफर है, तो माजी करीब में इतनी तारीफों के पुल क्यों बांधते थे आप? अगर आप समझते हैं कि आपका सुपा सलार गद्दार है, मीर जाफर है, तो उसकी मुद्दत मुलाजमत में इतनी तोसी क्यों दे रहे हैं?
With regards to Arshad Sharif's move abroad under still undisclosed circumstances, Spy Chief said Arshad Sharif was safe in Pakistan.
जो मेरे पास मालूमात हैं और तहकीक है, उसकी बुनियाद पे मैं आपको बता सकता हूँ कि शहीद अरशद शरीफ की ज़िंदगी को पाकिस्तान में कोई ख़तरा नहीं था। जब वो यहाँ पर भी थे, एस्टेब्लिशमेंट से, मेरे अपने इदारे के लोगों से रब्ता था। जब वो बाहर गए, वहाँ से भी उनका रब्ता था, और वो वापसी का भी अपनी आने का ख्वाहिश का इज़हार कर रहे थे। हुकूमत ने एक टीम बनाई है जो तहकीकात करने केनिया जाएगी। हुकूमत ने जुडिशल कमीशन भी बनाया है, और मैंने दानिस्ता तौर पर ISI के जो मेंबरान थे इन दोनों फोरम से निकाल लिए, ताकि कौम के सामने गैर जानबदार 100% शफाफ तहकीकात हों, और जो भी इसका नतीजा आएगा इंशाल्लाह DGISPR आपको इससे आगाह रखेगा।
He further revealed that backdoor talks did indeed take place between various political parties, and these talks were held for the country in order to bring down political temperatures. But he clarified that these talks could not reach their logical conclusion. Lieutenant General Nadeem reiterated that ISI will continue to perform its duties according to the aspirations of Pakistani citizens and the role defined in the Constitution. This is Ali Andaz reporting for PTV World.
Earlier, we spoke to Lieutenant General retired Raza Khan about the significance of this press conference. Let's take a listen.
I think both the DGISPR and the DGISI explained to the nation about the truth and realities which are actually happening in Pakistan. We are aware, that a lot of speculations, a lot of, false narratives are being made, particularly targeting the armed forces and the state institutions. The unfortunate incident of, the death of Mr. Arshad Sharif. So they actually shared with everyone, the journalistic community and the rest of Pakistan, what the truth is, what the reality is, and I think I totally agree with whatever they've been saying and advising that I think everybody should wait for the opinion, the final opinion and recommendations and findings of the Judicial Commission, which would actually call many people who may have information about that incident, and also it informed the audience that through the social media, a hate campaign has been launched in the past and which is continuing, and people should ignore these lies and defamation laws again which were made by the previous government through the PACA amendment ordinance. I think they need to be revised. So corrective action is taken on all these things. And I think it was a timely kind of press briefing which was required. And after this, I think all kinds of speculations, they need to be put at rest and they need to end.
I think it was very much necessary because of the type of rumors and type of remarks that were being passed about the military, and so it was very much necessary because it was very damaging. So I think the conference went off very well, and the way that they were able to take the questions and answer them, I think it was very, very positive. So I think on the whole, they tried to create, remove the impression that in any way the military was involved, and in any case they are fully prepared to sort of participate in any inquiry as regards the very tragic incident. There should be a balance and there should be a greater level of maturity. And also they should realize that they are also damaging the country's interest. In fact, they are also damaging their own interest, because no person in Pakistan can think that it can damage Pakistan's interest and not be damaged itself. So they are also collectively damaging their own interests if they are damaging Pakistan's institutions. And more so, the military institution, which defends the country's integrity. And you know what type of situation we are facing, both at the regional and the international level, the type of hostile forces. The way the Indians must be really so gratified by what is happening in Pakistan. So I think this conference is has helped or should help in trying to remove doubts and as they are saying, that let the inquiry come out with its findings and recommendations, and then if there is anything going wrong, then more so I think what we should also try to emphasize, that a new leadership is taking over in the military, and this new leadership has a completely, I think it is trying to give also a positive image. And I'm sure that Pakistan is moving in the right direction, and the military is.
Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif has underscored the need for enhanced cooperation between Pakistan and Egypt in the economic field. Talking to Tariq Mohammed Dahroog of Egypt, who called on him in Islamabad today, he also emphasized the importance of greater engagement at the leadership level, people-to-people contact, and increased institutional linkages. During the meeting, they discussed on further strengthening of Pakistan-Egypt relations and the upcoming Conference of Parties COP27 in Egypt. Recalling his telephonic talk with the President of Egypt, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the Prime Minister appreciated the support and solidarity by Egypt in the wake of climate-induced floods which caused devastation in Pakistan.
Minister for Planning and Development Ehsan Iqbal has said the all-weather strategic cooperative partnership between Pakistan and China has progressed to new heights. He was addressing 11th meeting of Joint Cooperation Committee on CPEC in Islamabad. The planning minister expressed satisfaction that since 2013, 11 energy projects of 6,370 megawatts under CPEC have been completed, along with a high-voltage DC transmission line of 880 kilometers. He said 3 more projects of 1,200 megawatts will be completed by 23 and 24. Expressing gratitude to China for its all-out support during recent floods in Pakistan, Ehsan Iqbal said the country is facing an estimated loss of $30 billion due to devastating floods, and the rehabilitation of flood-affected people is a challenge no country can address alone. He said, "We look forward to all our international partners and friends to extend help in this regard."
The Economic Coordination Committee has approved technical supplementary grant of 30,888.5 million rupees in favor of Defence Division and 1,000 million rupees for Ministry of Housing and Works. The meeting of Economic Coordination Committee was held in Islamabad, which was chaired by Federal Minister for Finance and Revenue, Senator Muhammad Ishaq Dar. The meeting approved the grant of development and production lease in respect of Kanthkot main mining lease and revival of revoked petroleum exploration licenses. The committee meeting also approved and allowed the amendment in Import Policy Order 2022 to allow import of the Holy Quran subject to NOC from the relevant federal or provincial authorities and disbursement of salary of Pakistan steel mills for financial year 2022-23.
Advisor on Kashmir Affairs, Qamar Zaman Kaira has said, we must learn from past mistakes. Addressing a press conference, Kaira said, Pakistan Army has decided to keep away from politics. He said, we welcome Armed Forces' decision in this regard and that Pakistan People's Party gave countless sacrifices for civil supremacy.
Defence Minister Khwaja Asif has said Imran Khan tried to malign state institutions for personal gains as he offered extension to Chief of Army Staff to prolong his reign, but General Bajwa refused Imran's offer to play on constitutional role. Briefing the media in Islamabad, Khwaja Asif said Imran Khan has pushed the country to the verge of political instability. Khwaja Asif said Imran Khan will go to every length to regain power. He said Imran praised Army Chief and later declared him a traitor. Defence Minister also said that the Army has decided to remain within constitutional ambit.
Interior Minister Rana Sanaullah has said Imran Khan's real face has been exposed today. Briefing the media in Islamabad, Rana Sanaullah said DGISPR cleared the air on cipher controversy. He said Imran Khan tried to manipulate institution for personal gains as he praised Chief of the Army Staff and declared him traitor simultaneously. Rana Sanaullah said whosoever defies wishes of Imran Khan gets maligned. He said Imran Khan had claimed to get a crowd of 2 million on 25th of May. Interior Minister said Imran Khan is spreading negative propaganda against government institutions. In Pakistan, Tehreek-e-Insaf is requested to allocate specific venue for peaceful demonstration. Otherwise, no one will be allowed to enter into red zone.
Meanwhile, PTI Chairman Imran Khan has announced a long march to Islamabad at a time when Pakistan is facing various challenges. To know more, let's watch the following report by our Lahore correspondent Ali Danish.
Such an attempt by the PTI was used before in 2014. The 2014 Azadi March and its 4-month sit-in failed to achieve any objective against the PMLN government but cost the national exchequer 610 billion rupees and damaged various public properties. The PTI-led government in Punjab has not shared any information on how much public funds will be used for the march, but it is believed that billions of rupees of taxpayers' money will be used for this attempt by the PTI to pressure the federal government to call for early elections. Pakistan is still reeling from the devastating floods which killed more than 15,000 people, affected more than 33 million and caused $40 billion damage. Spending billions on rallies and marches by the PTI Punjab government to cause political instability at a time like this exposes PTI's indifference to the problems of the common people. It also once again shows Imran Khan's continued lust for power. Reporting for PTV World, this is Ali Danish.
Kashmiris on both sides of the line of control and world over are observing 27th of October as Black Day to convey to the world that India has occupied their motherland illegally and against their aspirations. Kashmiri people have their rendering unparalleled sacrifices for the freedom from Indian yoke since 1947 and are determined to continue their struggle till settlement of Kashmir dispute in accordance with people's aspirations.
Kashmiri people have been rendering unparalleled sacrifices for their freedom from Indian yoke since 1947 and are determined to continue their struggle till settlement of Kashmir dispute in accordance with people's aspirations. Many generations of innocent Kashmiri men, women and children had known nothing but Indian brutality, bloodshed and torture An entire Pakistani nation reaffirmed unwavering support to their Kashmiri brothers and sisters in their just struggle for freedom. Kashmiris on both sides of the line of control and world over are observing 27th October as Black Day to convey to the world that India has occupied their motherland illegally and against their aspirations. President Dr. Arif Alvi called upon world community to play its part in facilitating a peaceful and just resolution of long-standing dispute of Jammu and Kashmir in accordance with relevant Security Council resolutions and wishes of the Kashmiri people. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif emphasized that only a solution to Jammu and Kashmir dispute lies in ensuring that Kashmiris are allowed to exercise their right of self-determination through the democratic process of holding an unmandated, free and impartial plebiscite, while stressing that Pakistan will always stand by Kashmiri brothers and sisters. Elucidating Pakistan's enduring commitment to Kashmir cause, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs Hina Rabbani Kar stated that Pakistan believes in full diplomatic peaceful pressure for resolution of Kashmir dispute, and Pakistan is fighting the case of Kashmiris on the basis of international laws and UN Security Council resolutions. No amount of Indian atrocities could deter the people of Kashmir from pursuing their struggle for right to self-determination, and people of Kashmir would never surrender their fundamental rights.
Minister of State for Foreign Affairs Hina Rabbani Kar has urged the international community not to look away but solve the outstanding Kashmir dispute. Addressing an event in connection with Black Day at the Foreign Office in Islamabad today, she said we must not allow the next generation in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir to live under subjugation. She reminded that the United Nations had accepted the right of self-determination of the Kashmiri people 75 years back. The State Minister said Kashmir runs in our blood and Pakistan will always stand by the Kashmiri people. Hina Rabbani Kar highlighted in detail the Indian atrocities in the illegally occupied Kashmir, saying that there has been at least 690 extrajudicial killings there since 5th of August 2019's illegal and unilateral steps. She said India's settler colonial agenda is evident by the manner in which it is bringing illegal demographic changes in the occupied territory in complete contravention of international law.
October 27th marks the day when Indian forces invaded Kashmir 75 years ago. In order to quell popular uprising in Kashmir in favor of joining Pakistan, Indian forces entered the valley to forcefully occupy. And this occupation continues even after 75 years of partition. The only difference is that the occupation is becoming more and more brutal and atrocious with every passing day. More this report by Ali Andaz.
When Pakistan says that Kashmir is an unfinished agenda of partition, it says this in the backdrop of history of Kashmir and UN resolutions on the issue. Despite being a Muslim-majority state and overwhelming support in favor of joining Pakistan at the time of partition, Maharaja Hari Singh trampled upon the will of Kashmiris. India's forcible occupation of the state of Jammu and Kashmir in 1947 is the main cause of dispute. India claims to have signed a controversial document, the Instrument of Accession, on 26 October 1947 with the Maharaja of Kashmir. Maharaja's fears of rebellion among Kashmiris in favor of joining Pakistan led him to invite Indian forces. India put forth a condition: it will only help if Maharaja accedes Kashmir to India, and thus the invasion of Kashmir began by the occupying Indian forces. There are doubts about the very existence of the Instrument of Accession. The United Nations also does not consider Indian claim as legally valid. It recognizes Kashmir as a disputed territory. The fact is, all the principles on the basis of which the Indian subcontinent was partitioned by the British in 1947 justify Kashmir becoming part of Pakistan. The state had majority Muslim population, and it not only enjoyed geographical proximity with Pakistan, but also had essential economic linkages with the territories constituting Pakistan. As India began forceful occupation, Pakistani forces rushed to halt Indian advance. Several key areas of Kashmir were liberated from the occupiers. Looking at the imminent routing of its forces, India rushed to the United Nations to seek resolution of the issue at the Security Council. The UNSC resolution of 21 April 1948, one of the principal UN resolutions on the Kashmir, left the matter to be decided by Kashmiris themselves through a free and impartial plebiscite. Knowing the ground realities well, India never intended to hold plebiscite. It's been 75 years of India's brutal occupation, and the conditions under which the Kashmiris are living makes it an ongoing human tragedy, and the world conscience remains asleep. This is Ali Andaz reporting for PTV World.
The Embassy of Pakistan in Kabul organized an event to mark Kashmir Black Day to pay tribute to the sacrifices made by the people of illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir against Indian brutal forces. The ceremony was attended by Pakistani nationals in Kabul as well as officials of the Embassy of Pakistan. The event commenced with the recitation of the Holy Quran, followed by messages of the President, Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Pakistan. They were also read. Furthermore, a documentary and a special song on Kashmir prepared by Ministry of Foreign Affairs Pakistan were also run on this occasion. In his remarks, the Charge d'Affaires Sarfaraz Ahmed Khan stated that the Indian forces illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir on the 27th of October 1947 in connivance with Dogra Raj against the will of the Kashmiris around more than 7 decades ago, but badly failed to suppress the freedom movement despite employing all kinds of inhuman tactics. He further said the people of the valley are looking towards the international community for justice and added that the people of Jammu and Kashmir are waiting for the international community to fulfill its promise of holding plebiscite according to UN Security Council's resolution.
Chairperson of the Peace and Culture Organization Mashal Hussain Malik, the wife of illegally detained chairman of Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front Yasin Malik, termed Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir a biggest prison on earth where every Kashmiri is a prisoner with no human rights. In her message on the Black Day, she said worst form of genocide by Indian forces has shut voices of innocent Kashmiris in occupied valley.
Addressing a protest rally in Islamabad in front of the Indian High Commission, Chairman Jammu Kashmir Salvation Movement Altaf Ahmed Bhatt said the 27th of October has great importance for all the Kashmiris in Pakistan and across the world. Lamenting the grave human rights violations by Indian occupation forces in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, he said the worst form of state terrorism is being perpetrated against the defenseless people of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir to silence and crush their legitimate struggle in complete disregard of international human rights and humanitarian law.
On the directives of the Ambassador of Kazakhstan, Sajjad Ali Sahar, a Black Day ceremony was celebrated in Almaty, Kazakhstan in solidarity with Kashmiris. Farooq Ahmed Memon, Commercial Attaché of Pakistani Embassy, read out the messages issued by the President, Prime Minister and Foreign Minister regarding Black Day. He said the oppression of innocent Kashmiris by India is going on in occupied Kashmir. Students should play their role in highlighting the truth and real facts on social media. Members of the Pakistani community were also present on the occasion.
Slain journalist Arshad Sharif was laid to rest at the H11 graveyard in Islamabad. Earlier, the funeral prayers of slain journalist who was shot dead in Kenya on Sunday last week were offered at Faisal Mosque in Islamabad. A large number of people attended the funeral prayers in the capital. Security around Shah Faisal Mosque was beefed up ahead of the funeral.
U.S. Ambassador Donald Bloom announced an additional $30 million in humanitarian assistance to support flood-affected population in Pakistan. This new funding brings the United States' total assistance to Pakistan for flood response, food security and disaster preparedness and capacity building efforts to $97 million this year. Ambassador Bloom made the announcement during a visit with USAID's implementing partner acted in Shikarpur district of Sindh. Ambassador Bloom also travelled to Makhno village where USG emergency shelter kits were being distributed as temporary housing by the flood-affected community. The new funding will expand efforts to address immediate needs, scaling up assistance to the most affected communities and enabling USAID to reach more than 2 million people.
Consul General of neighboring China in Lahore, Zhu Hao Shirin, has said that Pakistan and China have always been one, are one and will remain one, and day by day this friendship will grow stronger like a rock. Addressing the ceremony of awarding scholarships to male and female students in Mahmoodwali, a suburb of Sheikhupura, the Chinese consulate said that China will help Pakistan in every possible way to promote technical education so that young people can get employment after receiving technical education. Former Chief of Pakistan Navy, retired Admiral Muhammad Asif Sandhila, chairman of the Auxiliary Foundation, also addressed the ceremony. On this occasion, the Chinese consulate, along with Muhammad Asif Sandhila, distributed 31 lakh rupees under the scholarship program among 145 boys and girls schools and technical education institutions of village Mahmoodwali.
A delegation of 104 Sikh pilgrims from India, led by Sardar Harjit Singh, reached Nankana Sahib. The district administration received the delegation of Sikh pilgrims as they reached Gurdwara Janamastan, the birthplace of their spiritual leader, Baba Guru Nanak, by special buses. The Sikh pilgrims expressed gratitude to the government of Pakistan for making the best arrangements for transport, accommodation and security during the visit to Pakistan. During the two-day stay at Nankana Sahib, Indian Sikh pilgrims will perform their rituals of other Gurdwaras, including Gurdwara Janamastan.
Gunmen opened fire at a major holy site in the Iranian southern city of Shiraz, killing at least 15 people and wounding dozens. The official website of the judiciary said 2 gunmen were arrested and a third is on the run after the attack on the Shah Chiragh Mosque. The state-run IRNA news agency reported a death toll of 15 and state TV said 40 people were injured. Interior Minister Ahmad Wahidi blamed the protests sweeping Iran for paving the ground for the Shiraz attack, and President Ibrahim Raisi said Iran would respond. He said this crime will definitely not go unanswered and the security and law enforcement forces will teach a lesson to those who designed and carried out the attack.
The Foreign Office spokesperson said that the government and people of Pakistan were deeply saddened at the loss of precious lives and injuries sustained in the dastardly terrorist attack at a religious shrine in the Iranian city of Shiraz. The spokesperson said the people of Pakistan stood in solidarity with the Iranian people in this hour of grief and expresses profound sympathies to the families of the deceased and prayed for the swift recovery of those injured. The spokesperson further said that Pakistan strongly condemns terrorism in all its forms and manifestations.
Russian President Vladimir Putin said the West was playing a dangerous, bloody and dirty game over Ukraine, but that the United States and its allies would ultimately have to talk to Russia. Speaking to the Valdai Discussion Club, Putin said the West was blinded by colonialism and was trying to contain the rest of the world.
China's foreign trade has shown strong resilience in the January-September period, with the total volume up to nearly 10%. Ministry of spokeswoman Xu Zheting told the media during a press conference that foreign trade in the first 3 quarters of the year had contributed significantly to China's macroeconomic stability. She highlighted that China's import and export volume reached about $4.3 trillion in the first 3 quarters this year. Xu warned that growth momentum into the 4th quarter is weakening globally and that the environment for foreign trade development is becoming increasingly complex.